All right, good morning or good afternoon, everybody. This is Mr. Goyaso, and today, as y'all can see, we are talking about linear standard form, okay? And now, if you were in my class, I told y'all this was coming. I told y'all eventually we are going to talk about standard form, right? For the past month or so, we've been talking solely about slope-intercept form, right? We've been talking about y equals mx plus b, how to find the m, how to find the b, all that good stuff. Today, we're going to be talking about equations in standard form and how we can make them more useful for us, okay? So this equation right here, 2x plus 3y equals 15, that's in standard form, okay? Because I have a number in front of the x here, a number with a y there, and then a number by itself at the end, okay? That's standard form. So there's two methods that we can go about using this standard form equation so that it's useful for us, okay? The first method is going to be finding the intercepts. Okay, because remember, we can find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So the first one we're going to find is the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, there's really one step that we do. And this is really important. So to find the x-intercept, we set y equal to 0, okay? That is a big thing. So you can put a little star by this or something. When you want to find the x-intercept, you must set the y equal to 0. So what I mean by that is we take our equation up here, right? 2x plus 3y equals 15. And instead of y, I'm going to set it equal to 0. So plus 3 parentheses 0 equals 15, okay? So what that does is that's going to help me find the x-intercept. So 3 times 0 is just 0, right? So that basically cancels it out. So I'm left with 2x equals 15, okay? Then to solve for x, right, we use our algebra skills. We divide by 2 on the left, divide by 2 on the right, okay? On the left side, I get a value of 1, so I have 1x equals 15 over 2. Now, I'm just going to leave that as a fraction for now because I can't really reduce that fraction. So I have 15 over 2, okay? But that is not my x-intercept. Remember, it's part of my x-intercept, but I need the ordered pair. So if my x is 15 over 2, right, that means the ordered pair is going to be 15 over 2, comma, I set my y equal to 0. So that means my y value is going to be 0. So that is the x-intercept of this standard form equation. Okay? Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So that's the first part. To find the y-intercept, we do the opposite. So y'all can kind of guess. I'm going to set the x equal to 0. Okay? So it's kind of the opposite. If you want to find the x-intercept, you set the y equal to 0. You want to find the y-intercept, you set the x equal to 0. Okay? And we do the same thing. I plug in my equation. So 2 parentheses 0, because right, I set x equal to 0, plus 3y equals 15. Okay? Now we know 2 times 0 is 0, so that kind of cancels itself out, right? It's a 0. You can put right a 0 if you want, but you don't need to. And then I bring down what I have left. So 3y equals 15, right? I want y by itself. I want to solve for y. So I divide 3 on the left to get y by itself. What I do to one side, I do to the other. I divide the right side by 3. On the left side, I get a value of 1y. So I get y equals 15 divided by 3, 5. Okay, so I have y equals 5. But again, that's not my y-intercept. I need to write it as an ordered pair. So I'm going to write the ordered pair. But now, you have to watch out here. We set x equal to 0. So that means my x value in the ordered pair is 0. And my y value, since y equals 5, is 5. Right? So here is my y-intercept. Here is my x-intercept for this standard form equation, okay? Now, that's one way to use standard form equations. The second way, method 2, is to solve for slope-intercept form, okay? So what we're gonna do method here is going to be solving, so solve for y, okay? And what that does, I'll put a little star here, is that changes it into slope-intercept form, okay? And we've done this before. We just haven't wrote down all the steps for it, okay? But we've done this type of method before. Let me try to slide this underneath. There we go, okay? So, step one, we want to write out our equation. So the full standard form equation. So I'm going to write out 2x plus 3y equals 15, okay? Now this first step is solve for y. So I want the y by itself, okay? So we draw our line, and I get the y by itself. So the first thing I want to move over is this 2x, right? So to move over positive 2x, to undo it, I'm going to subtract 2x from the left side. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to subtract 2x from the right. Draw my line, okay? And I work down. 2x minus 2x, that's a 0 pair. Those cancel. I bring down 3y. On the right side, I have 15 minus 2x, okay? Those aren't like terms, so I can't combine them. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to write negative 2x in front of the plus 15, just because it has a variable, and it's going to make things a little bit easier in the end, okay? And then last step, to solve for y, to get the y by itself, I'm going to divide by 3, right, to undo 3 times y. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm going to divide each term on the right here also by 3, okay? And then I'm left with a value of 1y equals negative 2 over 3x plus 5, okay? And that's my equation, okay? So this is my equation in slope-intercept form, right? Negative 2 over 3x plus 5, okay? So the second step is just, right, is to simplify. And we didn't really have to simplify very much here, right? It's y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. So these are kind of the 3 things that we can find just from getting an equation in standard form, right? We can find the x and y intercept, and we can write the equation in slope-intercept form, okay? So let's look at a few examples down here. Or let's start at one example right here. So for this problem, I want to find the x-intercept and y-intercept, and then graph the line, okay? So let's do that. So we'll do the x-intercept first. So remember, to find the x-intercept, so I'm going to write x-int, we set y equal to 0, okay? So we're going to do that. So I have 2x minus parentheses 0 equals 10, okay? Well, the 0 cancels out. It doesn't do anything. So I have 2x equals 10. To get x by itself, we divide by 2. What I do to one side, I do to the other. I get x equals 5, okay? So that's not my answer, right? I want it in an ordered pair. So since it's the x-intercept, the ordered pair is going to be 5, 0. So I got my x-intercept. Done, okay? Now I do the same steps with the y-intercept. So I'm going to write that over here, y-int. So here we set the opposite. So I set x equal to 0, okay? So we do the same thing. 2 parentheses 0 minus y equals 10, okay? 2 times 0 cancels out. I'm left with minus y equals 10, okay? Now, this is kind of tricky. It's not y equals 10. You're not done here, right? We want, what does positive y equal? So to get this to a positive y, I need to divide by a negative 1, okay? So I'm going to divide the right side by negative 1. And then that cancels out, and I get y equals negative 10, okay? It's a little tricky there. Make sure you don't get stuck on that step. And then my ordered pair, we put it all together. 0, that's my x value, comma, negative 10. So I have my x-intercept in red, my y-intercept in that pink color, okay? Now we can go and graph it. So 5, 0, that's my x-intercept. Graph that right there. 0, -10 is my y-intercept. I graph that down there, okay? And those are the points, okay? And then it says to graph the line, so we can connect the dots if we need to. But if it just asks you to graph the x and y intercepts, this would be a perfectly fine answer. But if it says to graph the line, then we just connect the dots, right? Draw some arrows at the end. Boom, perfect. Okay, that's it. Okay, so let's go to the second page. We'll do a few more here. So on number 2, example 2, we have x plus 3y equals -9. Okay, so same thing, x and y intercepts, right? So for number 2, let's find the x-intercept first. We'll do it under here, doesn't matter. So say x-intercept. So what we do is we set y equal to 0. Okay, so I get x plus 3 parentheses 0 equals -9. 3 times 0 cancels. Boom. I get x equals -9. Again, it's not my final answer. We put it all together as an ordered pair. -9, comma 0. X-intercept done. Move to the y. So y-intercept, we set the x equal to 0. Okay, so when my x is 0, I have parentheses 0 plus 3y equals -9. All right, that cancels out. I'm left with 3y equals -9. To get y by itself, we divide by 3 on the left. What I do to one side, I do to the other. I'm left with y equals -3. Again, not my answer. I put 0, comma, -3, and I have my 2 ordered pairs, my x-intercept and my y-intercept. So we graph my x-intercept, -9, 0, that goes right there. My y-intercept, 0, -3, that goes right there. Okay, and we're good, right? We don't have to connect the lots here unless it asks you to, but if it just says plot the x and y intercepts, perfect, you're done, okay? Let's slide up to number 3. So number 3, same thing. 5x plus 10y equals -20. Let's find some intercepts. So x-intercept, we set y equal to 0. Okay, and again, it's just a pattern. You're just doing the same things over and over again. So I get 5x plus 10 parentheses 0 equals -20. Okay. 10 times 0 is 0. That cancels out. I'm left with 5x equals -20. To get the x by itself, we divide by 5. What I do to one side, I do to the other. So I get x equals -4. Okay? Again, not my final answer. So I put it in an ordered pair, -4, comma 0. X-intercept done. Okay? And for the y-intercept, so remember the y-intercept, we set x equal to 0. So I get 5 parentheses 0 plus 10y equals -20. 5 times 0 is 0. That cancels. So I'm left with 10y equals -20. To undo 10 times y, we divide by 10 on one side. What I do to one side, I do to the other. 10y divided by 10 gives me y equals -2. And then last step, we write it as an ordered pair, 0, comma, -2. Done and done. So now we just graph those points and we're good to go. -4, 0, I look on my graph. There's -4, 0. 0, -2. That's right there in the pink, right on the y-axis. Okay, and we're good. We'll do one more and then we'll slide down to the bottom examples. So number 4, number 4 is the same thing. Let's not worry about that. Let's go to number 5. So here, we want to write these into these standard form equations into slope-intercept form. So this is like method 2 on the first page, okay? So I'm gonna do the first couple here and then we'll be done. So, first step, we need to solve for y, okay? So I want the y by itself. So we draw our line, okay? And the first thing that I would do here is I would undo this 3x, right? I would subtract 3x. What I do to one side, I do to the other, okay? So I draw my line. 3x minus 3x, that's a 0 pair. So I bring down negative 3y equals, remember, I put the variables in the front. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it just makes it a little bit easier. So I get negative 3x plus 12, okay? Then, to get the y by itself, we divide by negative 3. And again, what I do to one side, I have to do to each term on the other side, okay? Each term, don't forget that. And then I'm left with y equals negative 3x divided by negative 3. That leaves me with 1x. 12 divided by negative 3 minus 4. So this equation, I get y equals x minus 4. Okay? And we can write it a little nicer so I don't have the line underneath. Okay, just like that. And then we'll go to 6. Yeah, we'll be done after 6. So number 6, same thing, right? I still want to write it in slope-intercept form. We're still going to solve for y. So again, I draw my line down the equal sign, and we do the same steps, right? We want to move the x first. So to undo minus 6x, I'm going to add 6x. What do I do to one side? I do to the other. Negative 6x plus 6x, 0 pair. Those cancel. So I have y equals 6x plus 11, okay? And we're done there. If y'all look, I already have y by itself. I don't have to move anything else. So my slope-intercept form equation for number 6 is y equals 6x plus 11. Boom, done. That was an easy one, okay? And number 7, it's the same thing. We're not going to do the example because we're already at 17 minutes. So if you do need more examples, you can just ask your teacher for help. But other than that, we are done for today, okay? Y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all later.